is Bold TV. An entertainment program on disability and its related issues from a gender perspective. Join us every Saturday by 10:30 a.m. on Facebook at Bold Heart Network and YouTube at Bold TV_Bold Hearts. Bold TV, beautiful, outstanding ladies with disabilities television, powered by Bold Hearts Initiative. Everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of Bold TV, beautiful, outstanding ladies with disabilities television, brought to you every Saturday by 10:30 a.m. Today's episode is an exciting one, and this program is powered by Bold Heart Initiative. My name is Freki Andrew Essien. I'm the Executive Director of Fake Foundation, and I identify as a woman with disability because I use a wheelchair from spinal cord injury, and I will be your host for today's episode of Bold TV. Today is an exciting topic because we are going to be speaking about the power of start. The power of start. But before we delve into our topic, I would like my guests and co-hosts to introduce themselves. We'll be right back.
Good morning, ladies. Good morning, online audience. I remain Osaki Teresa George Taria. I reside in River State, Onne. I'm a freelancer and a polio warrior. I'm so glad to be here. I want to say Happy New Year. This is my first time this year on Bold TV. Thank you.
Hello. Good morning to you, my dear friends and partners. My name is Coach Oge Passion, and I am based in Benue State, Nigeria. I am a health and business consultant. I sell health products, health supplements, yes, and I'm also into foodstuff business, which I recently began. I am an above-knee amputee that either uses crutches or an artificial limb. Thank you for having me here.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Uluwatomisin Adeyefa, and I am a broadcast journalist, a gender and disability rights advocate, the executive director of Beyond Limits Initiative for Women and Girls with Disabilities. I'm based in Abeokuta, and I identify as a woman with disability who has a visual impairment. Feels so awesome to be here this morning. Thank you.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you and you and you. Welcome to Bold TV this beautiful Saturday morning. My name is Afionyetim, and I'm your co-host on Bold TV. I live and work in the capital city of Akwa Ibom State, Uyo. I am a medical lab scientist, that's my day job, and I also mentor youths and a Sunday school teacher, amongst other things. And I am a woman who identifies with disability because I am a survivor of spinal cord injury. And today it gives me great pleasure to hang out with you.
Hello. Good day, everyone. Happy New Month and Happy New Year. It's good to be on Bold TV. Good to be reaching out to you all. My name is Dr. Obi Peters Adiela. I am a legal practitioner, a disability rights advocate, an associate professor of law at the Faculty of Law in River State University, and I'm also the proprietress of Ruby's Academy. It's good to be on board here, and I'm reaching out to you from Port Harcourt.
Welcome back, and it's good to have all the amazing ladies here to discuss on the topic, the power of start. Just to lay a foundation, why are we talking about the power of start? Start, S-T-A-R-T. And we're speaking to this topic with respect to achieving your goals, because starting is a powerful factor that sets things in motions when it comes to achieving your goal. The power of start with respect to achieving one's goals is so crucial because it breaks the barrier of initial inertia. What that means is that it breaks that power of procrastination. I will. Starting is really the most difficult thing. Imagine something in the position of rest and then you're saying move. There is a force that has to be applied to overcome that settled, comfortable territory. So number one, the power of start is important in achieving set goals because it helps us to break that barrier of initial inertia. The second reason why this topic is so important is because it generates momentum. Once you start, there is that thing that keeps you going, which brings me to the third point. It turns theory, dreams, wishes into reality. It's also important because it builds one's confidence. You see, small starts translates to big wins. Remember the adage, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. Without one step, there is no journey. Without one step, there is no destination. So, small starts translate into big wins. And the last but not the least, why are we speaking to this topic today? It is because the power of start also brings clarity when it comes to goals. And in the course of the conversation from the ladies, their lived experiences and all the tips they're going to bring, you're going to see these crucial, important points that I brought to you today. So without wasting time, I'm going to hand over the conversation to two amazing ladies, Osaki and Afyong, and they're going to give you 2 tips on how women with disabilities and you that is listening to me can start. Ladies, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Freki. 2 tips on how a woman can start with respect to our goals. I'll talk about one, a spiritual guidance. Once you have this spiritual guidance, you've prayed over it, there's this peace. At times you have different kind of goals at the same time. You want to establish for the year, you want to put for the year. But there are some when you do your review, some you want to check. So you will not have this peace. So you have this, how much can I do it? There's this fear. But the ones that you just have peace, you're not in any struggle. You're just like, okay, this is better. You could figure out how you can get success out of it from now to December 31st. That kind of goal, my sister. That is what I will advise you to go. Start with that. A spiritual guidance that once you think about it, there's peace. Go with that one. The other tip I will talk about, I know this spiritual guidance, of course, you can't figure out everything at the same time. But that one, you can figure from one stage to like 2 or 3 stages at that time. You can figure out those. The other ones, as the day progress, you'll be figuring out on how to get it successful done. The other tip I'll talk about is start where you are. You don't need to get that much. Start with where you are. If you want to go into like a kind of trading, just look out for what is trending now, like the kind of fruit in season. What is the thing that you can buy? Of course, most of us can go to the market, so we can send someone that, my sister, what's in the market? Now they'll tell you there are fruits, different kinds. There's pawpaw now, there's banana, there's orange, there's sea, Odara is still there. So you can say, okay, you can pick up those things you can afford, you can get based on the amount you have with you. Set a table in front of your house. You have to go anywhere. So it can even be in your house, just in your house. And you just tell your friends, I sell this, I sell that, I sell that. And they say, you sell, yeah, I sell. That could be a kind of trade in your house, a goal that I say, I want to achieve, I want to sell this and get money out of it. Just tell your friends and go around you, I sell this. And they come and buy from me. And you buy those things that are in vogue, that are the trending things. And you know how to buy them before they get perishable and how to sell them so that they don't spoil in your hand, you get losses. And the price of how you can get your transport back or wherever you're sending, it will be easier. So start where you are. If you want to go to digital space, the phone you're using is still okay. Start with that phone. There are a lot of button phones that do a lot of things. So the first thing is only when you have the smartphone. They lie. I have a friend. If you see what he does with his button phone, you will laugh. But I say, it does everything in social media, but just that in a different way. It might be slower or not too sharp, but he still achieved the same goal. So start where you are. That money you have, start with that money. That phone you have, start with that phone. You don't have anything much or to run around. And also, school just resume. You can get pens, eraser, all of stationaries for school and put in front of your table. People will buy. So those are the 2 tips I would like to say. Have a spiritual guidance, have peace in that goal you are setting that you want to start with, and also start where you are. So these are my 2 tips for a woman with disability to start in respect to our goals. Thank you very much.
So today we are talking about the power of start. And so today I'll be sharing 2 tips about how you can start. Now, before you think, you're thinking about achieving your goal, I would say, first of all, know your why. That's my first tip. Know your why. Because your why speaks to clarity. Your why makes everything come together. It shows you the big picture. It shows you that this goal is not just goes beyond just the present. You're mapping out the future. So you need to understand why. Why did you choose that goal? Why that particular goal? Why not any other? So you sit down and you ask yourself why. Take your time to understand it. I know that when the new year begins or a new month, everybody's rushing around to come up with goals, new year resolutions and all of that. Don't fall for that. Don't fall for that pressure. Don't put yourself under that pressure. Sit down, ask yourself why. Why did I choose that goal? Why do I want to achieve it? To what end? What's the purpose? Because when you understand it, when things get tough down the road, and they will, believe me, it's not smooth sailing. There are times you will wake up and you're like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm tired. When you get to that moment, you will be able to say, oh, this is why. You go back to your why and ask yourself, why did I start this in the first place? And your why will help you. It will motivate you afresh. It will help you to stay the course. So knowing your why helps you to maintain or sustain your plan towards achieving your goal. The second tip I'm going to tell you is put systems and structures in place. If your goal does not have systems and structures, believe me, it will not last. You may never achieve it, because life will happen. Systems and structures ensure that no matter what happens, your goal is on track. You sit down and ask, how do I go about this? How do I get to this? You sit down. Let's say, for example, you say you want to earn 1 million naira by the end of the year. It won't just happen by chance. You sit down and you ask yourself, how do I achieve 1 million naira? How do I earn that kind of money? That's where you sit down, you come up with a plan. This is how I'm going to do this. I will save this much every month. And then not just saying I will save it, documentation. One of the systems and the structures you can put in place is to document. You must document and make sure that everything you say you want to achieve is on paper so you can see it. If possible, you paste it where you can see, so that anytime you forget or something happens, you can go back and say, this is why, this is what I started, and I need to finish it. And so you say you want to save. Not only do you say you want to save or you write down the amount, you can go a step further and put, request a standing order like they do at the bank, so that money is automatically taken out of your account and it never gets to you. It's put away. So that you know that no matter what happens at the end of the month, what is left is what you can work with. The money, your goal is on track. That money is being put away and you have no problems reaching it. When the time comes, you will be surprised that you are able to achieve and maybe exceed your goal. So I hope this really helps you. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Afyong, and thank you, Osaki, for those amazing tips. The spiritual direction, the issue of setting structure. So much has been said, in those past minutes, and I'm hoping that you're taking those tips very seriously. Now, the reality is that even when one sets goals, even when one starts, whether we like it or not, sometimes there are challenges, not sometimes, most times, there are challenges and there are setbacks. It's something I usually say. I tell somebody, the fact that you have decided to start something or actually moved and started it, does not mean that everything will just be like, okay, let's allow the person, he has already started, let's allow, nah. Life comes with obstacles and challenges, and that's what the next 2 ladies are going to speak to. Because it's one thing to start, it's another thing to be able to stay motivated and continue on that journey. Why? Because truly there are challenges, truly there are setbacks. So I'm going to hand over this next series of conversation to Professor Obi, as well as Afyong again, to tell us some of the challenges, how we can overcome them, and what are some of the setbacks and how we can navigate through them in achieving our goals, in ensuring that the power of start is not diminished. Over to you, ladies.
So I want to talk about challenges to starting to achieve our goals. Now, this is just the beginning of the year, the second month in the year. I'm sure we have goals for the year. Now, those goals can remain as wishes until we start, until we set in motion plans and work towards them to achieve them. Now, there are some challenges that we could face, that people face in actualizing their goals. I'm going to be discussing two of such challenges. Number one is the lack of planning. Yes, you may have a goal. Your goal is smart, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound. Yet, that's the goal. However, you need to have plans. You need to have plans to ensure that that goal is accomplished. So, lack of clear plans is one challenge that can hinder your goals, hinder you from achieving your goals. So it is important that, having identified what your goal is, now set in motion plans. Have plans, write out plans, let them be clear, plans that you can implement, implementable plans, implementable steps that can be used, that can be done to achieve your goal. Now, if those plans are not complied with, if those plans are not put in place and implemented, then your goal will just be mere wishes. So it is important that, having drawn up your plan, having established your goal, having identified what your goal is, having made that goal, next thing is establish clear plans to actualizing that goal. I hope we understand. The second challenge I want to talk about is the lack of or wanting perfect conditions. Now, some persons would want to wait. They want to be sure that, everything is perfect before they will start. The weather is perfect, or I have enough money, or I have enough connection, I am able to buy a new phone before I will start. Before they just have excuses. They want perfect conditions. Everything must be perfect before they start. They want different conditions to have been met before they start. My dear, this is life. In real life, there are no perfect conditions. Just start. Imagine that you're telling yourself that it is when we will enter dry season that you will begin. Look at it. Right from January, it's been raining in Port Harcourt. It's been raining this week. It's rained more than 4 days out of the 5 days, out of 6 days already. So when are you going to start? If you're looking for dry season, you will like in previous days, we barely have dry season. If you're waiting for until it snows in Nigeria, it may never snow in Nigeria. If you're waiting until you have an iPhone, you can start with whatever you have now and work towards it. So just start. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. Perfect conditions sometimes may just be illusions. So start at the level where you are. Start, even if it means starting small. Start, by all means, start. So how to overcome these two challenges? First, the one of not having a clear plan is to draw plans. Break down those goals into small steps and begin. Secondly, start. Having broken down your goals into small plans, begin. Start. That way you will achieve your goal.
Now, one thing with goals is that, like I said, life can happen. Things will come up and, it can derail you. Maybe you fall sick or an emergency happens. You have to be prepared for that. These are setbacks that can happen and can affect the achievement of your goals. But when these things happen, one thing you should know is that a goal is just an estimated destination. Just because you may not get to that destination at the time you set, or you may not achieve it, go through the way you thought you had, you must be flexible. So one thing with goals is you must be flexible. Your goal stays the same, but your path to that goal can change. So always consider that. You don't be rigid and say, I'm going to do this, so if I don't do it this way, then it has failed. No, be flexible. The goal stays the same. Nothing changes that. But how you get to it can change, because things will happen, changes will come, and then you decide, okay, let's take this way. This way is no longer working. Let's try another way. But you keep your eye on the goal. So one way to deal with setbacks is to be flexible. Be willing to adapt without, compromising your goal. Be willing to adapt. Another thing you can do is that when it comes to goals, know that when the time comes and you do not achieve it, you can always carry over. It's not written in stone, like if I don't get to this point by the end of the year, then it will never happen. You may say, let's use the former example. You said you will save, or you will save up to 1 million at the end of the year, and that doesn't. Maybe at the end of the year you end up saving 500,000. Don't let that discourage you. Sit down and ask yourself, okay, what happened along the way that made it, derailed our original plan, and then continue, carry it over. Note the things you need to change, where you need to improve, and then move on. Because when you stay stuck, your goal never gets achieved. The saying goes, nothing ventured, nothing gained. So it still ties into my first, solution to setbacks, being flexible. So you get there, it doesn't happen, goals can be carried over. Unlike the goalpost in football that cannot be shifted, your life goals, you can always adjust the time. Oh, I couldn't achieve it at this time, but you keep going. The important thing is consistency. And like I said, when you put systems and structures in place, that helps to ensure that even when setbacks come, they don't disrupt your plans too much. Maybe there may be a slight delay or a slight detour, but you will still be on track. So these are some few tips I want to share with you, and I hope that this will help you as you go about setting your goals and pursuing them. Just remember, the important thing is to take action. Just start. Don't wait until you will never have a time where everything is perfect. Just start. Take that first step. And as you keep taking with each step, it becomes clearer. With each step, it becomes clearer. The path becomes, more, you have more clarity as you go forward. So clarity comes with movement. As you take action, it becomes clearer. So I hope this will help you. And I'm rooting for you, and I hope that those goals you have set, you will get to achieve them.
Oh, wow. Indeed, there are challenges. A great writer or a great speaker once said that at the end of the day, truly, it's not about the destination. A lot more times, it's about the journey. It's about who you become as you move out in achieving your goals. The power of start cannot be underestimated. So, what are some of the lived experiences of women with disabilities? I want to hear the story of Tomisin Adeyefa, how she started Popular Abilities Initiative, and also Oge Passion, Oge Onoha, who has just started a shop in relation to her business. Let's hear their lived experiences and learn more about the power of start. We'll be right back.
Thank you very much, Frankie, for that wonderful question. Well, Popular Abilities Initiative, now Beyond Limit Initiative for Women and Girls with Disability, it's been a long time coming. Like, it's a dream come true. It's a goal that I have always nurtured within me. I've always, set my mind that, this was going to happen. And so, if I tell you that it took me about 10 years to realize this dream, please believe me when I say so. So I trained as a journalist, and then I branched into the broadcast journalism world. Started out by presenting shows, creating content around gender issues. I've always been a soft advocate for women empowerment, women celebration, women lifting women, and things like that. And so when I started those content creation, presenting and producing programs that, talks about women, empowers women, celebrates women, and, just discuss generally about gender issues, I had the opportunity to produce a documentary that talks about the prevalence of gender-based violence among women with disability. And that experience plunged me into the world further of women with disabilities. I came to realize that as a woman with a disability, we go through gender-based violence 10 times more than our counterparts without disability. And a lot of time the focus is on the woman without disability. Sometimes it's hard to believe that women with disabilities are abused. They look at us as someone who is above the norm, like God has created you differently. Nobody should tend to abuse you in whatever way, form, shape, or size. And so it's not something you regularly talk about. And because of the stigma, the shame, the discrimination, the accessibility barrier, the communication barrier, attitudinal barrier, a woman with disability who also goes through gender-based violence will readily not talk about it. And when they readily talk about it, they don't get justice, they don't get heard. It's sometimes hard to believe, because a lot of times these abuses are done by very close people, caregivers, families, friends, and so there's a lot of cloud around gender-based violence amongst women with disabilities. And that was when I started nurturing that idea. I didn't know I was going to start an organization, really, but what I did at the time was I started volunteering, especially for organizations that does things around gender issues, things around women with or without disabilities. So I wanted to learn. I wanted to be a part of the process. I wanted to give my quota. And as I was volunteering, I was partnering, I was collaborating, I was offering free services. Sometimes, the payments they even pay sometimes does not correlate with the effort that I put into. But I kept doing all of those things because I knew that at some point it was going to come in handy for me, even though I didn't know how or when it was going to come in handy, But I just kept pushing. I kept, the process of advocating for women's issues, especially women with disabilities. And so that went on for quite some time. And when the opportunity came for me to travel to the US for my Mandela Washington Fellowship, I did. And at that point, during one of my focus project discussion with my supervisor, I just told her, I said, I've been volunteering. I do a lot of collaboration. I facilitate sessions for other organizations, when it comes to GBV amongst women and girls with disabilities. And the question was, do you want to make it official? Like, do you want this as a personal project? And there and then I made up my mind that, okay, I was going to make this official. And while the registration process was going on, I kept doing things around it. I kept putting out initiatives. I kept facilitating sessions for women with disabilities, for women without disabilities, for organizations. I kept training myself too. And today it's registered as Beyond Limits Initiative for Women and Girls with Disabilities. So that's the story, that's the journey so far for Beyond Limits Initiative for Women and Girls with Disabilities. Thank you very much, Freki.
Hello, friends. Yes, talking about this topic. So the power of start, it sounds so very important to me because it's one of my goals to get things started at the beginning of the year 2026. And one of those goals, I already started on it. And what's that? I newly opened a shop in front of my house for a small business, foodstuff business. Yes, I sell foodstuffs like dried fish, frozen food, yes, groceries, tomatoes, pepper, vegetables, crayfish, and other things, condiments that you use in cooking, as well as beverages. Yes. And then alongside, as the demand kept increasing, people will come in to ask me, do you do POS here? Do you sell recharge card here? Yes. And I also decided to add that up. So it's really been a nice one, because for some people, they tell me they love the business, the nature of business, because it's an estate. And it happens that my house happens to be at the beginning, the heart of the estate. You need to pass my house in order to get into one of the streets. In fact, there are sub streets again, but you need to first of all pass through my house in order to get into those sub streets. So it's just at a position that is on site. So when people come in and they see there is a shop, they are happy, they're excited. And the good thing about this shop is that it's not just servicing the people around the neighborhood, but it's also servicing people online. Like there's a WhatsApp group for food stuff created for this business. So, but this is like the on ground shop where those goods are packed, or you can find those goods. So the main intention of the business was actually to get people in the estates and also outside the estates order for these things like a pre-order, and then from the demand we are able to get these foodstuffs in bags, so it's cheaper, it's fresher, and then we get to share it. So like the other week, I was able to deliver. My client in the UK told me she has received her dried fish in UK. Yes. So, but all of those activities came from this shop I opened. Yes. So you can see with that, you see that you are able to sell off more. You have people paying for these products even before they get to see the products. Yes. And then whatever you see in the shop is just a little of what we have shared, like the big orders that we have shared, and we have some in the shop for people around the neighborhood to, like, okay, it's a working shop and I pick something, say it's a groceries, or it's frozen foods, or crayfish, beverages, bread, eggs, and all of those things. So you see the concept. Yes. So it's something I have started, and I'm liking how it's going. One of the things that made me to actually start this foodstuff business, because I tried a couple of businesses to see which one people would want to patronize very fast. And I realized foodstuff business is one of the fastest growing businesses. And why? Because no matter what we do, we would always eat every day. Some people eat 2, 3, 4 times a day. Yeah, so people would always eat. So you see that it's at the top, foodstuff business. So I decided to go into it. That's one of the reasons. The second reason that made me to say, okay, let's get started, was that, like I told us, I am a health and wellness consultant, or health and business consultant, and I sell food supplements. Yes, I sell food supplements. But some people around the neighborhood, when I tell them about my products, they'll be like, wow, your products are top notch, I must say, but probably it's on the high side. I'll get back to you and all that. Some, they get back to me, some, they never get to buy again. So, but you see this food stuff, they are coming to buy maybe soft drinks, they are coming to buy airtime, they are coming to do POS, they are coming to, buy 1 or 2 groceries, and like that we get talking. From getting to talk, something pops up and they need my product, and I tell them, okay, we could actually get these products for sure. So it's my main business. I am also trying to promote my food supplement business. I am also trying to promote in the course of selling food stuff in the neighborhood. So I'm happy I was able to start. So I really love this topic that Freki has come up with, the power of start. And one thing I want to tell anyone that is thinking of starting a business is, don't keep procrastinating. Just start. No matter what it is you want to start, so long as it's good and the people would want those services, please start. No matter how little, just start. Just get started. When I started, I didn't start with much. I just started with buying one thing at a time, and before you know what, I'm filling up the shop already. Yes, so get started. Just get started. Yes. So thank you for this opportunity, and bye.
Wow, wow, wow. Congratulations to all the ladies, because everyone who has spoken here has started one initiative or the other. Honestly, so many things have been said today. So many things. We have been able to tell you why starting is so crucial to achieving your goals. We have also been able to bring you tips on how to start, the power of start. We've also brought to you some of the challenges and setbacks, but most importantly, tips on how you can overcome these challenges and setback. Last but not the least, we brought you lived experiences of some ladies with disabilities to further ginger you to actually start that goal. So, what are you waiting for? The power of start lies with you. Gather everything you can possibly have and not allow this year to be like any other year. We are currently in the second month, so whatever has been keeping you, self-doubt, self-esteem, low self-esteem, not feeling that you have the capacity, all those things, my dear, I'm challenging you. Start. And we on Bold Heart Initiative would like to hear your testimonials and how this program has come to you and galvanized you to actually start in achieving your goals. The power of start. The power of start. Let's spell it together in sign language. Let's go. START. Start. I know that you have learned something today on today's episode of Bold TV. So until we come your way, same time, same place, which is our Facebook page, www.facebook.com/Bold Hearts Network, and our YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/Bold TV _Bold Hearts. We come to you every Saturday, 10:30 a.m. Now, three things that you can do. You can, number one, subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can, number two, follow us on Facebook. And number three, would like to hear your comments on these two spaces, as well as share. So, until we come to you next Saturday by 10:30 a.m., what do we say? START. Starts. It's been me, your girl, Frankie Andresian. I've been your host on this episode. See you next week. Bye.